the hypocrisy just doesn't end with these people. And, my friend Michael Malice often says, and Walter Kern, who was on the show a couple weeks ago on our Friday panel, makes the point of saying that something good is happening right now because the lies are just coming out faster and faster. So sort of like the first segment I did on AOC, it's like everyone knows you're lying about all that stuff. Not everyone, but a lot of people. Fauci, you flip-flop every which way. It's like you guys are red-pilling people left and right because the average person has some memory, right? We have some memory of you saying one thing and then saying another thing and everything else. So here is Fauci now saying that mask mandates for fully vaccinated Americans are going to be quite understandable? What?
So it's quite understandable, Neil, why local authorities are now saying, good that you're vaccinated, but in a situation where you have people indoors, particularly crowded, you should wear a mask.
Good that you're vaccinated, but people indoors should wear a mask. That local authorities should be deciding that. Well, guys, science tells us the vaccine works, right? Isn't that what he's telling us? So if you're vaccinated, you should be allowed to be out there. We're also told now the new thing is that that the vaccine doesn't really stop the Delta variant, which everyone's freaking over, but you will get lesser symptoms in essence, okay? I think they're missing the point here. I'm going to actually try to give Fauci the benefit of the doubt, which it's getting very hard to do. But the point that they're missing is that humans need to move on. We need to move on from this, right? Some people are going to get sick. It is possible that that COVID will be with us in some form or another forever at this point. And there will be people who get sick. There will be people who get different variants. Maybe it will morph into something else. You should take whatever precautions you want to take. You know my feelings about vaccines and if you want to wear masks and all of those things. But the fact that still now we are over a year and a half after 2 weeks to flatten the curve, and now he's kind of saying, yeah, if you're indoors, wear a mask even if you're vaccinated. It's like, when does life ever become normal again? And then there's these other people that'll say, well, no, this is the new normal. And again, guys, if you could snap your fingers, and go back to a year and a half ago, would you do it? Go back to that life a year and a half ago, would you do it? I think pretty much everybody would, except our ruling class, except the Faucis, except the Democrat governors, except the people who want to endlessly control you. I can tell you here in Los Angeles, where now there is an indoor mask mandate, whether you're vaccinated or not. Well, first off, a lot of people aren't doing it. The sheriff has said he will not enforce it. I went into the mall. I did not wear a mask. Some people were wearing masks. Some people were not wearing masks. And when you see someone who's not wearing a mask, there's a nice human moment. And you can actually see them smile because you can see their mouth. It's quite extraordinary, actually, because human interaction and us being social creatures is an important part of the whole damn thing. When I went into Bloomingdale's to get a bathing suit because I'm going off the grid. I did not have a mask on. A sales associate came up to me very nicely. He said, "Sir, could you put on your mask?" And I did, because I was not there to get into a fight with this guy or get this guy fired or any bit of trouble or have them call the police, even though we know the police won't do anything about it. But I think you can do what is right for you in your life. I'm not being a dick about it. I'm actually going to get the antibody test later today at 3:30, so stay tuned on that. Because everyone has to make decisions for themselves. Anyway, I want to show you some other tweets that we've got here. So back in March of 2020, people were saying very, very different things. This is Chris Hayes. Trump's obsession/focus on a vaccine is nuts. It's totally immaterial to the short-term challenges, which are substantial. Now, I want you to really think about that. Let's leave that up for just a second. This is back basically a little over a year ago when Trump was pushing for a vaccine, and you've got the 8 o'clock, I guess. He's on. This guy's on at 8 o'clock. I don't know what time Chris Hayes is on. Nobody really knows what times Chris Hayes is on, and nobody should know. But basically, he's saying that Trump, because he's pushing for a vaccine, is nuts. These are the very same people who all want you to get vaccinated immediately right now. He slightly has walked back from that on Twitter over the last couple of days. Then there's that real piece of work, Joy Reid over on MSNBC, and this is when Trump was president. The Trump administration has so broken the federal government and several state governments, thanks to sycophantic governors like Ron DeSantis, Brian Kemp, Greg Abbott, Kristi Noem, et cetera, I can't even conceive how we put it back together and restore credibility. I mean, will anyone at all, ever fully trust the CDC again? And who on God's earth would trust a vaccine approved by the FDA? How do we get a vaccine distributed after this broken Trumpist nonsense has infected everything, even if Biden wins? Really think about that. Think about the level of partisan insanity that these people pushed out there. We have Chris Hayes basically saying Trump's focusing on a vaccine and that's going to kill people. And this woman saying, Joy Reid, saying we can't even trust the CDC anymore because of Trump. These are the same exact people who now will tell you everything that the CDC is right and that, of course, you should get vaccinated. And it's the unvaccinated people who are the problem, even though it was them telling people we're focusing too much on vaccines and vaccines are probably evil because of Trump. This is what causes people to have bipolar disorder. I'm fairly certain. Like, if you watch these people, the way they flip-flop. You know, it's one thing to change your opinion. I hear this often. Well, Dave, you changed your opinion on things. You used to be a Bernie supporting leftist. We've seen the videos on YouTube. I'm not proud of those videos, by the way. But you know what happened to me? I got new information, like that seminal moment that all of you have seen when I sat down with Larry Elder talking about systemic racism, and I couldn't back up my position, and Larry had facts and information. That's not flip-flopping when you evolve to a new position because of new information. Flip-flopping is when, because one guy you don't like says something, you say something, and then when the guy you like says something, you say something else. And that's what all of these people are doing. We'll throw Rachel Maddow in there too. We've got a Maddow tweet. Trump has plotted with his team on a pre-election promotional campaign to try to convince voters a vaccine is safe, approved, and ready for mass distribution, even if none of that is true yet. Well, of course, as we know, it turned out to be completely true, and it's exactly the same vaccine that they are trying to push on everybody right now.